Welcome back to RPG Elite, where we put the RP back into RPG, giving you the tools and tips to help you have a more immersive and enjoyable RPG experience. My name is Servant of Shiloh, your host here on this channel, RPG Extraordinaire and RP Snob, and you'll be hearing bits of my RP snobbishness coming out in my videos, and I'll actually do a video on why I am that way, but that'll come way later on down the line. Now, in my first video, which was my last video, we started looking at a new virtual tabletop that's coming onto the scene called Skirmish. And in that video, I had mentioned that the version that they have out right now is in beta. So we're getting in on the ground floor here. But I wasn't sure if they were still developing it, because if you go to their YouTube channel, they haven't made a YouTube video, I think, since 2017 or something crazy like that. Maybe last year, 2018 or whatever. I think it's 2017 though. And they're not really updating anything on their Facebook page, and not updating anything in the forums, and you kind of wondering, okay, is this thing on? Which is what I had put up as a thread on their community forums. And I did that on January 17th. And as I'm recording this is January 29th of 2019. So I did that earlier this month. 10 days later, on January 27th, there was a response on the forums. And it says, yes, we are still developing. Well, they also happen to put it up when you pull up your client. So if you went and got Skirmish and you pull up your client now, you're going to see this box, this first box here that says progress. And let me go ahead and read this to you. It says, fellow adventurers, for anyone wondering, yes, we are still alive, and yes, Skirmish is still in development. We are still implementing features into the new build, also bug fixing, although it is taking longer than expected. And that is a given. When you're doing anything like this, it always is going to take longer than expected. Continuing, we need the software to be bug-free before we want to add more features so we don't run into problems later on. Totally understand. I totally get it. Thank you for answering my question, because this is really about me making videos. Because if they weren't going to develop it, then I wasn't going to be in a rush to make more videos about it. But since they are developing it, I want to get this out here as much as possible, because I think that this is going to be a contender in the virtual tabletop market. Now, if you're not, if you don't know what virtual tabletops are, there are more than a few of them out there. You have things like Fantasy Ground, Map Tools, Roll20, Battlegrounds, these tabletops that you use virtually online so you can play your favorite role-playing game or battle game or whatever, depending on what kind of virtual tabletop that you're using. Now, one thing here before we go on is that I'm going to be focusing on aspects of Skirmish in detail. So I'm not going to mess around and try to give you just kind of like a slight overview or whatever. We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty details, folks. The devil's in the details, and that's how we do it here at RPG Elite. Okay, so let's go ahead. I got my server already running in the background. Here's my client. I'm going to log in. It's going to pull up my server. I'm going to click that join button, and it's going to pull up Skirmish and go, blow, just like that, y'all. That's how we do it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this box over here, the Zoom box, and I'm going to put it down so I can give me some more real estate here, because I just don't like that thing being up like that, and I'm not real sure why they have it like that, even in the beta. I should change that. It's just annoying to me just because they love me that much. Okay, anyway, today we're going to be focusing on dice and how to activate and use dice in Skirmish. So it's a very simple process. All you're going to do is go to the menu up here. You're going to highlight game, click on that, and then you're going to go down to configure plugins. It's going to pull up the plugins that are in the game. And I don't know how they're going to do these plugins. I don't know if they're just going to include some of these plugins with the base package, or if they're going to have it where you have to buy them, or if they're going to do kind of a mix where they give you some of the basic ones, but then some of the other ones, the specialized ones, you'll have to buy, which I would think that would probably be the way that they would be going. Now, here you have you have these images over here, and of course we're going to focus on dice, so guess which ones you're going to click on. If you said the ones with the dice on it, you're absolutely correct. Click on the one that says Core Global Dice Bag, and click on the one that says Core Character Dice Bag. Now, as you can see, that next to every one of these plugins, it says Experimental. And I will repeat, this is beta, so it's not fully developed. I would even say that it's somewhere between alpha and beta, to be quite honest. I think that's where we have this, and it's still a solid piece of software. I really think that this is a solid piece of software. It's like I said in the last video, hey, even if they weren't developing it anymore, you still can use this software and go to town. You really could. All right, so let's go ahead and click Save here at the bottom once you've clicked those two. And you will notice that right up here in the corner, a little box showed up, and that is our Global Dice Bag. So you go ahead and click on that, and your dice box pops out. Now, I want to say a little something about dice in general when it comes to role-playing games. You would think, I've been playing role-playing games for far too long. Probably longer than some of you people have been alive. But anyway, you would think that when you go to a live RP session, and the way that some people roll in with these dice bags that have like 50 dice, 100 dice, or something like that, I just have to go, what in the world is going on? This is role playing with an E, not with an L. And so really, you don't need that many dice. Now, I know what some of you guys are saying. Oh, I just like to collect them. Oh, I like to color all it. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. If that's your bad and that's your deal, that's totally cool. Some people have this fixation with dice, and then they make that. Now, these people's, not all of them, I'm not saying that all of them, but you will find that these people make dice kind of like the focus of the session. How high can I roll? And can I get this result? And can I get that result? And I'm not getting the result on this. And I'm going to change dice. And whoa, wait, man. You have totally missed the boat here. This is role-playing, R-O-L-E, not R-O-L-L. Dice are there for one reason and one reason only, and please do not forget this, because if you did not know this, you're about to learn something. Dice are only there to help you tell the story. That's it. It is all about the story. It is to help to make your experience more immersive and more enjoyable by enjoying the story. So that is what they should be used for, and not, be used as a distraction. All right, I'm going to get down off my soapbox. My rant is over. Let's go ahead and see how this works. So you have all the different kinds of dice here. It's a very simple setup, and that's another reason why I like it, because you have some other virtual tabletops. They have dice, and you can roll them, and they've got the animations going across the screen. Oh, that looks so cool. Yeah, it might look cool, but here's the thing with that. Number one, when you have animations and things like that, and you have to roll all the time, then that puts more weight as far as your computer having to work in terms of memory and CPU and things like that. And again, and now all of a sudden the dice are a distraction, and you just really don't want that. You really don't want that. You want to make this as simple as possible and really focus in on the story. That's how you're going to have an immersive experience. Okay, so that's why I like the way that Skirmish does this. They keep it simple. Now, it's real simple here. You see all the different kinds of dice here. You got your 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20, and percentile dice. Well, if you want to roll one 8-sided die, all you have to do is click on that bad boy and it will roll it. And down here, and I'm going to make this box a little bit bigger, down here is where your results are going to go. So in this box over here is always where your die roll results or dice rolls are going to go. If you wanted to roll a 20-sider, you can roll a 20-sider and it shows up. Now, let's say you wanted to roll one die 20 plus 3. So all you have to do is put a +3 there at the end. It's going to give you this little red box to say, hey, you need to finish this. So put your 3 in and roll it. And let's say you needed to roll a 1d6 + 1. So just go ahead, highlight that together, and you can write it in there, 1d6 + 1. Click on roll, and there you go. Well, let's say, hey, I need to do that 1d20 + 3 again. Well, instead of typing that all in again, it has a pull-down menu. All you do is click on this, and it saves the rolls that you have been doing in the global dice roller. Now, I was doing an experiment before I made this video. I wanted to see how many die rolls that it saved. And lo and behold, I got to 10, and I was like, well, I mean, that's enough. I mean, if it'll save 10, your last 10 previous dice rolls, you in business. You can just go and do the pull-down menu all day long and probably just use that for the session. So if you are a DM like me and you need to make secret dice rolls, let's say you need to make a 1d20 die roll, but it's a hostile NPC roll or a monster roll, and you don't want the characters to see it, so you're just going to do like this and click on that. Make sure this icon is grayed out. Roll your 1d20, and as you can see down here in the dice box, it says only for your eyes. Only have eyes for you. So that's how the global dice roller works. Let's go ahead and look at how the character dice bag works. So we're going to go over here, go down a little bit, go to PC right here, and the dice bag is already attached to the PC because we clicked on it in plugins. If you go ahead and click on that arrow right here on the side, then you will see, this is one I was messing with earlier, you'll see gun 1d20. And let's say that that's what you needed to roll for a gun. But I'm going to go with the convention that we have in our game because we play a game called The One Ring, which is basically Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. It's all of that universe, Tolkien's universe. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to give the conventions that are in that game. So I'm going to go, okay, well, he has a sword because he has a big sword. See, a big sword right there, sword. And so, and I'm going to say he needs to have, now in Tor, we call it Tor, the One Ring. The dice conventions is you always roll what's called a feat die, which is a 12-sided die with whatever number of success die your skill or ability has. So I'm going to pick one off of the top of my head and say that this guy has a sword and he has 1d12, because you need that, plus a number of 6-sided die, which are your success die. And we're going to say that his skill with the sword is 2, so it's going to be 2d6. Then when I want to roll that, I just see this little die right here, and it's telling you to roll, so roll. And now it says the name of the PC uses sword and rolls a 12, ooh, which is a Gandalf in my game, which is a really, really cool thing. But anyway, and a 6 and a 5. So I just rolled a 23 off the charts, nailed that. I also rolled what's called a great success, and that was a good example. Okay, anyway, let's say I want to do another one. Let's say I want to add my spear to that as well, because the guy carries a spear as well. So we're going to add spear, and I'm just going to copy and paste this right here. But instead of doing 2d6, it's just 1d6. So I'm just going to put that in there. And then I'm just going to roll that when I use the spear, and it's going to show up down here. And what happens then is that when you save your character, these dice are going to be attached to your character. So you go to your dice bag, you click the dice bag open, these will be there, and every time you want to swing your sword, you roll with your sword. Every time you want to swing the spear, you roll with the spear. And that is how that works. So that's it, folks. That is the simplicity of how the dice works here in Skirmish. So next time we're going to get into detail on making your character. Now they've done this over at the Skirmish YouTube channel, but I'm going to go into detail. I'm telling you, I'm not sparing any detail when it comes to you're going to be a Skirmish boss when we get done with all of the videos that we're going to do. So until next time, folks, happy gaming, and all the best to you. God bless.